He was murdered in cold blood while investigating land fraud for the U.S. government. And for more than a century, the exact location of his grave remained a mystery until now. 7 News reporter Doug Shepman shows us how his descendants became amateur investigators, learning a lot more than they imagined.
In 1907, Secret Service agent Joseph A. Walker was murdered in the line of duty, and the story made headlines all over Colorado.
And the murder trial turned out to be the largest murder trial of the time.
Walker's grandson, Robert T. Walker, and his daughters knew very little about the man and his story until they started researching a few months ago, and the pieces started falling into place.
He was asked to go down to Durango because of the numerous land fraud investigations down there.
Walker and 3 other men were investigating an illegal mining operation on homesteads intended for ranching when he was gunned down.
He was shot in the back by a double-barreled shotgun.
He was the first Secret Service agent killed during a field investigation. His wife Alita couldn't afford a headstone, so Walker's remains were buried in an unmarked grave somewhere in Denver's Fairmont Cemetery, a grave his grandson had tried to locate over the last 10 years.
One thing that I wanted to do was to bring my grandfather honor and respectability and to get a headstone for him.
As it turns out, all they needed to do was ask.
Fairmont had a record of his internment, and it was out at the old part of the cemetery.
Which was a matter of about 5 minutes. And here we had been looking for it for years by simply walking.
Here, in Block 8,
right ahead of us,
this family finally found the place to pay their respects.
This is the grave of Joseph A. Walker.
A foundation now awaits the headstone that will mark Walker's grave, even as the story of his life and death continues to grow and fascinate his family more than 100 years later.
It's been more than just here's his grave. It's like here was his life.
Doug Shepman,